Hi, I'm Ailbhe McDonagh, and today we're going to be exploring the open strings on the cello and a little bit of pizzicato. Open strings are when you don't use your left hand at all and you just play the strings as they are. So the four strings on the cello are an A, a D, a G, and a C. So you can see that as I'm sitting here, I went from left to right. So the A is the highest string and the C is the lowest string. So you can see today I have no bow in my hand. We're just using our fingers to pluck the strings. And the Italian term for plucking is called pizzicato. So there are lots of different techniques for pizzicato, but the main one is where you put your thumb on the side ridge of the fingerboard. And then you use your first finger and you sort of pull the string, so you pluck it, and you can feel yourself pushing into the thumb as well. So the louder you want the string to be, the more that you have to pull up the string. So you can do a very soft one without really plucking too much at all. So it's quite fun. You can also use your second finger. So on cello, the fingering that we use is not like the fingering we use on the piano, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But on the cello, you always start with 1, 2, 3, 4. So we only ever talk about the 4 fingers. So the first finger was the one I used for the main pizz. I can also use the second finger. It's quite good sometimes to try a repeated note. Sort of sounds like a snare drum when you use that. The final way that you can also do pizzicato is with your thumb. So the thumb is very, very fleshy and you get a great sound when you use all the flesh in your finger. So you literally point your thumb up towards your face and you can hear it's very resonant there. Now you can see where my point of contact is on the fingerboard. Some people approach pizzicato a little too close to their face. Whereas if you move down towards the place where the bow plays, you can hear it's a little more resonant. So just a final other note to think about when you think about your open strings. When you play the A string, the highest string, that's the one on the left. Often this is notated by having a Roman numeral 1. So you'll hear the A, and this is where it is on the stave, and you can see the Roman numeral underneath that. Similarly, the D string is the one just next to the A string on the right. And that string is called a second string, so it's notated by a Roman numeral 2. So here's the D. You can see it on the stave here on the bass clef, and you can see it notated by a Roman numeral 2. We next move on to the G string, and that is notated by a Roman numeral 3. You can see it here on the stave, and that is notated underneath with Roman numeral 3. Finally, the C string is the only open string that is notated off the stave. So you can see we have to have 2 little lines underneath the bass clef stave, and that is our notated C. So that C is notated by a Roman numeral 4. So you have an I and a V. So now that you know all of these strings, have a little bit of fun and come up with some tunes that you can play with pizzicato in all of their different ways. So you can do lots of rhythms. Or you could give yourself a little waltz. So So have a little bit of fun yourself, improvising and composing a new tune using just your 4 open strings. Thank you for watching this video, and please feel free to leave any comments or questions below.